We have an update in the trial of the man who was accused of killing Heather Heyer at the Charlottesville Unite the Right demonstration. Okay, so James Alex Field, junior, 21, an Ohio native, was charged with first-degree murder last year following the hit-and-run attack, which killed 32-year-old Heather Heyer and injured dozens other anti-racism protesters who ran counter to the Unite the Right rally. He was found guilty, the report says, on that top charge. Not only that, but he's also found guilty on other charges, including 5 counts of aggravated malicious wounding, 3 counts of malicious wounding, 1 count of failing to stop at an accident involving death. This particular trial had all those convictions along with it. He still faces 30 counts of hate crime, a 30-count hate crime indictment. So this seems like a good thing, correct?
Yeah, wonderful. Guilty. Now, if you saw the video, it's the clearest thing you've ever seen in your life. He's in the car, he plows them over and specifically kills Heather Heyer. So, but you know, in America, sometimes you don't quite get the justice that you were hoping for. So whenever you do get justice, like a sigh of relief, like, oh, thank God, they actually convicted the Nazi who murdered a counter-protester. So good day in America.
And what was particularly good was that his lawyers were trying to make the point, as he was, that he didn't really mean to hurt them. He was scared of them. So because he was scared of them, he plowed his car into them and killed Heather. So it's also very good to know that that wasn't an argument that worked.
Yeah, and if you guys, if you remember the video, and it was particularly gruesome, it wasn't like, hey, they had surrounded his car and he didn't know how to get out and panicked. No, his car was quite a distance away, and he built up speed as he rammed into the protesters that were not near him. So that defense, look, to be fair to the lawyer, he had to have some defense, right? He's his defense attorney, but it was a particularly weak defense because his client was enormously guilty. So he could spend apparently life in prison, which makes sense if you're guilty of murder.
Yep, it was a 3-week trial. The jury was comprised of 1 person of color on the entire jury. And there were 9 women, 7 men, and yeah, they came back with a judgment of guilty. And to your point, it wasn't just that the car was stopped, he backed up and then went forward at the crowd. According to the reports surrounding the days, he left the area initially. So he was there. I mean, maybe if people are attacking you, you have some kind of defense if you attack them by fighting. But to then leave, go get your car, come back into the area, see people down there, it was just absolutely horrible.
Yeah, but you know, look, it does give you a sense of how bad it's gotten in America. Because you know, if he'd used a gun instead of a car, he might have been able to make a stand your ground case. And that has worked a lot of times. Where, well, look, I mean, there was a big crowd and I had a gun and I was a little intimidated, so I shot them all, right? And so, but it didn't work. You know, there'd been cases where it's been no minorities or very few minorities on juries, and then you get these wild, outrageous judgments. But I know it's a really low bar. Well, you know, I don't know if he calls himself a Nazi, a neo-Nazi, a white supremacist, it doesn't matter, right? But when you have that kind of person who very, very clearly on tape murdered someone, and mostly white jury in the South says, yeah, that was murder. You're like, yes, like thank God, right? So, but and by the way, a little bit of more faith than in America. Then you know, look, facts matter, and when there's situations that take away faith in America, you get disappointed and concerned. And then when there are situations like this, which, yeah, it's a low bar, but hey, God bless, wonderful. And so now a little bit more faith in the institutions, including the justice system.
Right.
That's right, and also, again, just to remind everybody, this was around the incident that happened after where President Trump did blame both sides.
Right.
And so it's good to know that even after that happened, we got to the right result.
Yep.
Yeah, in fact, I wanted to say one more thing. Thank you for reminding me of that. So Trump said both things. He said both sides are at fault. No one ever asked him, do you mean Heather Heyer? Was she at fault for?
Because he didn't mention her name.
Yeah, And so, but he also said there are good people on both sides. And I don't know if anybody ever asked him if he thought James Fields was one of those good people, or any of the people who had chanted, "The Jews will not replace us." But to some degree, it's not just a rhetorical point I'm making. It's a literal question I wish somebody had asked. Can you name me one person that went to Unite the Right rally and chanted, "The Jews will not replace us," and then this murder happened? In that rally, can you name one person who was a good guy on that side? Because you said there are good people on both sides. I couldn't name you a single good person on that side. And I know if some of you are like, "Hey, that's biased," I'm sure there's some good neo-Nazis and they had good reasons for wanting to replace or not be replaced by the Jews. Okay, that's your call. But no, I think those are terrible people. And luckily, one of them at least got justice today.
And I don't believe, as of now, that the president has tweeted about this. Again, the justice is great. It is the right thing, absolutely. It would be nice if the president would acknowledge this and potentially undo the damage that he did at the time of that comment, but that's unlikely.
Yeah, and guys, understand what a layup it is. We're not like, "Oh, you guys criticize Trump." No. Look, it's an opportunity for him to say, "Hey, this is a moment for healing." Layup. It's a layup. We're actually, like, in a sense, we're helping him. Why don't you just tweet that? You'll get, you know what? Since you say such terrible things nonstop and lie nonstop, the media has to point out all those things. So it seems like they're against you, when in reality, all they're doing is their job of correcting you. So they can't wait to bend over backwards to give you credit. If all you did was like, "Hey, I'm glad we had justice in this case and it's a time for healing in this country," I guarantee you the media would be like, "Look at that wonderful, magnanimous comment by President Trump." But he just can't bring himself to do it. And it's not that he thinks Fields is great. I'm not saying that, right? Or that Heather Heyer's murder was great. No, I'm not saying that. It's just he just doesn't care enough. He's like screaming into the abyss about the special counsel, like, Ron Rosenstein, who's his own deputy attorney general, is wrong, everybody's wrong, right? And like, "Hey, Mr. President, the terrorist, the one that ran over the thing was convicted." The TYT Plus app is now available on iOS and Android. Download to get more TYT content at tyt.com/app.